Hey guys, what is up, and welcome back to another episode of T4C Culture TV. I'm your host Hotshot, and today we're going to be reviewing the big game that happened yesterday: Tottenham Hotspur 2, Manchester City 0. So before we get into today's episode, I just want to say a big thank you to all those who have supported on the channel. Please do drop a like and share it around, and do subscribe if you haven't to the channel. So without further ado, let me welcome our guest back again. Anand, how are you?
I'm doing well after the win.
Yeah, and CD, what's up?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. Not one of the nicest Sundays which I expected, but yeah, it's part and parcel of the game, and we have been used to this, no? So,
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah.
feeling much better. Yeah.
So before we get into the episode, I just want to welcome back the co-host of the show. Please welcome the
Good morning,
man, the
coach.
myth, the legend.
Vanakkam,
Hi,
Sai.
Siri. How are you? Long
I'm good,
time no
man.
see.
How are you?
Good.
Hey,
Hi,
Sairam.
Anand. I'm speaking. Can you
Sai,
not
Sai,
hear
நான்
me?
முதல்ல surprise ஆயிட்டேன் சொல்லிடுறேன்.
Oh, okay. He told you already. Okay.
I didn't tell. Ananda told.
Hello. Oh, Anand told.
We
Okay.
didn't hear you. Sorry, yeah. He's asking you
Sorry.
to give you like an introduction speech.
Introduction speech. I mean, I didn't expect the result that actually happened yesterday. I was very surprised. I was expecting a draw or at the most a City win, but I think Spurs they did really well. But let's get into it. So that's why we are here. So yeah, let's get on with it.
Yeah, so coming to the lineups, CD, there were a lot of surprise omissions. I mean, why didn't the game was crying out for someone like Phil Foden to try and influence the game? Like you said, Bernardo Silva has not been in the best of form. Why did Pep not start Phil Foden? And after scoring 2 goals in an international break, he would have been in great form and great confidence. So that would have been a great game changer for you guys.
So I will start on like basically the yesterday's game was so frustrating for me, and it was like seeing the replay of the last season's match. Like it was
Yeah.
exactly the same. So like we had many attempts and we have created many chances, but end of the day Spurs had 2 shots and 2 goals. It was same yesterday as well. So coming to the lineup, in the preview as well, I said I wanted Phil to start along with KDB in the midfield, but he's been in good form as well. In the national break, he has scored 2 goals, and I think Pep has thought of like to have some legs in the midfield, and Bernardo is that kind of player who can put in the work rate so much in an intense game. So to run box to box, I think that was the reason he might have included him. Also like he's Bernardo Silva, and Pep trusts him a lot in big games. I think instead of going for Phil, he thought of like trusting the Bernardo's quality, and he thought of give him a chance. So that's the reason, but it didn't work out pretty well for us yesterday. And that's the thing about the lineup.
Yeah, I was very surprised that Sterling didn't start, and Ferran Torres he played. I know he got a hat trick in the midweek against Germany and everything, but surely in a big game like this, Sterling would have been a better option. So, what was your thoughts on that?
Sterling was not fit, right? He's injured during the national break itself, and
Was he?
he was pulled out of the team. And press conference on Friday, Pep confirmed that on Friday only he took part in the first training session with the team. Before that, during the break, I think he was training individually, maybe, or maybe doing some gym sessions. So that's the reason, like he was not included.
Was that the same case with Aguero as well?
Yeah. Aguero, Pep confirmed on Friday's press conference that trained during the international break with the players who are not part of the national team. So he trained here in Manchester, and he was ready. Yeah, I think Aguero will start in the
Yeah,
midweek
but even
EPL games.
I was surprised that he
Uh,
didn't even come on. So that was one of
Yeah,
the other thing
yeah,
that I was
that
wondering.
that is another part. Like Pep was so vocal about five substitution rules, but till 65, 70 minutes each game, he's like hesitating to like make the substitutions. He's not making the substitutions very early. That is also like frustrating point for us.
But
So yeah,
but
that
to
is
be
another
honest,
thing. Like
no, go on, go on. I'll.
yeah, that is another thing. I would put it on Pep. Like when the match is not going on the side of us. So like when we have attacking substitutions, when we have players like um, Phil, Aguero, and the quality we have in the bench. So he can bring it up instead, like keeping the players who are not performing yesterday. In yesterday's match, like Maras had a shocking game. Like he was contributing nothing on the right hand side, and Bernardo as well in the midfield, like just carrying the ball and sideways passes and back passes, nothing else, no progression passes, and also losing the balls like many times in the midfield. So yeah, Bernardo and Mara should have been subbed off yearly, but Pep didn't do it. He brought on Phil and Sterling very late in the game, and that too like took off Maras and Bernardo, but he put again Sterling on the left and Ferran on the right. So
Hmm.
again, that is another issue which I mentioned in the preview as well. Like I don't think Sterling is not comfortable playing left now this season currently. That too with this form right now.
yeah. Anand, now the winning team. What do you think? Where did it go right for you guys, and what did Jose try to do to solidify that win?
So Jose's game plan was pretty clear. So teams who go out and play open against City will definitely get shredded, and they'll get hit for 5, 6, and sort of tennis scores. So
Not this
Jose,
season.
yeah, not this season, but that's been so they have really great playmakers and finishers like KDB, Bernardo, and Jesus, and playing open against them would be foolish. And he was very vocal about it even during the pre-match, and he said we'll have to give them something that they don't like, which was sitting back and hitting them on the counter. So if you see City's main threat, it would be runners in behind the centre backs and full backs, which they either the midfielders or the wingers will find. So it would be either the wingers or the number eights making those runs alternatively. So I thought Højbjerg, Sissoko, and Ndombele cut that off really well. Also, we need to give credit for our fullbacks, Reguilon and Aurier, who kept Ferran Torres and Mahrez under check the whole game. So Reguilon
Yeah,
was not dribble passed even once during the whole game. That proves that Mahrez had a shocker. So we could see that even during the early in the first half and during the first half. So probably I expected a change early in the second half when I thought Mahrez should have been taken off, considering he didn't contribute anything from the right. At least Ferran had free runs 2, 3 times to show his speed and stamina, but then from the right there was nothing, and Sissoko and Reguilon covered it very well. And the only surprise inclusion in our lineup, as we talked about during the pre-match preview, was the right wing spot, and as you could see, it was Bergwijn,
yeah,
which surprised even most of the Spurs fans because he was not in the lineup for previous few games, and he was omitted from the Dutch lineup as well during the international break. And this proved to be a huge show of confidence by Jose on him that will prove loads of goods for him for the upcoming games as well. And he was used to stretch the defense because Son and Kane were dropping deep sometimes, and it was Bergwijn who was making those runs beyond the defense whenever our defenders went long. So he stretched the defense, Laporte and Diaz, because their fullbacks pushed up high the field. Because you would have
yeah.
seen during both the goals, their fullbacks were nowhere to be seen, and he was used to stretch the central defenders.
Yeah, CD mentioned that high line was a huge weakness for for Spurs to exploit, and
Yeah,
Jose did that very
the
well.
yeah, as I mentioned, the same thing happened yesterday. So it was pretty evident. Like I was disappointed with Pep. Like he didn't tweak anything to the formation yesterday because uh, like everyone knows like Jose is going to play this formation. Like Kane mentioned in the post match interview, and Jose as well said that. They came up with that strategy, like players adapted to it, and Kane openly said that they played a mid block yesterday. So
Yeah,
like everyone knew that they are going to like sit on two banks of four players in their own box and going to like take advantage of the space behind our defensive line. So that was the plan. They pretty much adapted to that plan and they executed it perfectly. So I thought of like Pep would do some changes to the formation, our existing scenario, but yesterday we like during our build up when I rewatched the match in the morning yesterday and when I gone through some of the analysis, it seems like we played the match when we had a position. We build up our play using like 3-5, like Joe Cancelo joining with Rodri in the midfield, and the number eights KDB and Bernardo joining with the front three, forming the five.
yeah,
Spurs were like when without the ball they were pressing us on 4-4-2, like Kane and Ndombele pressing our midfielders like Rodri and Joe
yeah,
Cancelo. Wingers Bergwijn and Son kept hold of KDB and Bernardo, and
yeah.
Hoiberg and the other guy was supporting.
Sissoko.
Supporting the front three, marking the front three. So that was the game plan. But I don't know why Pep didn't change anything yesterday, and he pretty much fell into the trap of Spurs tactics. It was just like the last season's game. It was the same game plan, game strategy, whatever you call it. So I was disappointed that Pep didn't change anything to the team or the formation yesterday, like to surprise Spurs, because they came up with this plan knowing that we will play exactly to our strength, like that with the conventional 4-3-3 yesterday. So they set up the team very well and explored the. That's what I mentioned in the preview as well. So they will. Our weakness is like our high line, like the space we leave behind our defense. So that's the area like Spurs are good at. Like they have lethal finishers like Kane and other winger who can run fast behind our defense and catch up on us and counter attack.
Anand, how important was Indombele in that game? He was absolutely brilliant, and he was the one who was marshalling the play. And like CD said earlier, he was helpful in assisting the press and assisting out Kane, and he even put in a brilliant ball for Sun. So what? How good was Indombele in that game?
Yeah, so anybody who watched NWA last season would never have believed that he could reach this physical fitness levels to support the press as well as carry the ball box to box and assist players as well. But we should also accept that his balance on the ball and his dribbling skills is second to none in the league. So
Yeah,
the way he gets out of tight spaces, you could have seen in the Southampton game and in the other games as well. The way he gets out of tight spaces and dribbles out of press is very very impressive, and that makes him almost very immune to press by the opposition players. So that is one of his most important qualities, which enables him to find the right spaces and the right players with the important passes. And yesterday, if you see the assist, he just evaded the press from Bernardo Silva with a shoulder drop and then found the space to pass the ball to Son. So those are the little things, and his balance on the ball and his dribbling skills are that's really important for a player to survive any pressing sides like Liverpool or Manchester City.
it
Yeah, that
wasn't.
was
And
really good move from Ndombele. Like he faked Bernardo. Bernardo, like instead of marking him, he went for cutting the passing lane to the right. But he did just a shoulder drop and move to the left. And Kane and Son brilliantly executed the move. But that has been like pretty much known. Like this season, we are seeing Kane like making the central defenders move out of position, coming deep, and Son and other winger making the move on the space. So these things like people we itself know, and there are like specialists, clubs, specialists in the team, video analysts. All these guys are already there. They would have definitely known this, and they would have told it to the players during the meetings. But yeah, another mistake from Laporte yesterday, and instead of covering the space, he moved along with the Kane, and that left the space open for Son to move.
So actually, I think that was a lack of communication between Diaz and Laporte, because both of them were attracted to Kane, and they left Son alone, and it was left to cancel out to cover him. So I think the instruction would have been for one of the centre backs to mark Kane, because it is known that Kane likes to drop back deep into the midfield. So, but it was a mistake on the part of Laporte, because Son was playing on the right. So ideally, Diaz should have been the one attracted to Kane, and Laporte should have been covering Son from the right side.
Yeah, Pep also mentioned in his post-match interview, like the players know like when to like go to the forward player, or when to like cover the space and stand their ground. But instead, Laporte moved along with Kane, and that created the space open, and Son perfectly exploited it. And it is a lovely chip from Ndombele.
Now, seek a little title run, maybe.
Hopefully, too early to call that. But the next 5 or 6 games should give us an idea of where we stand, because they are all big games.
Chelsea and Spurs are the two teams that are looking really good at this moment, I'd say.
Yeah, and they play next week.
I hope Spurs win, man. I can't stand Fat Frank.
Actually, Liverpool haven't been doing too bad. It's just that they've been going under the radar. So let's say,
you won the game, but it came at a cost. Toby looks to be out for a lengthy spell, Jose said, but it's not yet confirmed. So let's hope for the best. But if the worst has happened, can Rodon step into the shoes of Alderweireld, or will Sanchez prove to be a capable backup?
Yeah. So the first thing is that Toby didn't have to start 3 games during the international break, so that was attributed to the Belgium manager. So I was not a big fan of that, and it definitely took a toll on him during the game. And Jose is definitely known to be a pessimist while calling upon the injury timelines. He always calls it to be a big injury until it's known to be otherwise. So fingers crossed, it's not a big injury, but I've been reading reports that he should be in the sidelines for a longer time than expected. And when we are talking about the replacements, and I've been reading reports that Jose is falling out of favor with Davinson Sanchez. So he was a big money signing from Ajax, who had a huge potential. But over the so many seasons he has had at the club, he has not been able to dislodge either Vertonghen or Toby Alderweireld with a solid run of games. So I believe Jose will put his trust upon Rodon, who has an impressive number of games under his belt even in the championship. And you could see that he captained Wales at just the age of 23 during the international break. And that says a lot about the trust his international teammates and managers have on him, as well as his club mates back at Swansea have on him. So I believe that he has the ability and the maturity to step in and fill the boots of Toby Alderweireld. And this could be a start of probably a new era, because Toby, as we know, is not an up-and-coming CB. He is definitely at the flagging end of his career. So Rodon should definitely step up, and this could be the start of a new era of defensive partnership for Spurs.
Like you said, it's a Colombian PS4 Hotspur. I think you might know this reference.
So that always turns up.
CD, coming to City now, you mentioned in your preview that you're missing Sane and David Silva. Do you think it was more evident in the Spurs game than before? And what can City do to try to they can try to plug that gap, stop gap at the moment? I kind of thought Bernardo Silva would be the natural heir to that throne left by David Silva, but do you think Phil Foden should be trusted more in games like these? He's a wonderful player. So what do you think the future holds for City going forward in this season, and where do you think realistically City could finish this season, or do you still believe you have a chance for the title?
Yeah, I will go one by one.
Yeah.
So exactly, yeah, as I mentioned in the preview, I missed David Silva so much yesterday because it was like yesterday's game was like crying for him. So that we needed someone like to make the incised passes between the defense and to our player. So that was completely missing. And as you said, yeah, we all thought like once he was like not in his best moments last season. So once he leaves, we thought like Bernardo will adapt in the midfield, and he will like the transition will be very smooth. We thought like that, but yeah, Bernardo is not in his good moments now. Since the last season, he's like he's not the Bernardo like we saw in his previous seasons, like in Monaco or in our second title winning season under Pep. So that was not the same Bernardo which we are seeing now. I don't know like what is the issue. Maybe the position he's playing right now is not suitable for him, or some other mind block or something. I'm not sure, but he has been given enough break and enough run of games as well by Pep. Pep has completely trusted him and given him enough games, but I don't see like the level of Bernardo, like the current form he is playing right now. So yeah, I think it's time for Pep to like start trusting Phil more and give him the place to him. So because anyway, this is the chance he needs to trust Phil and give the opportunity to him, because he's got nothing to lose. When we can evidently see that Bernardo is not working, um so he should decide on that position and make a choice. So and also like nowadays I am seeing that how to say that that cruel mindset of Pep is missing nowadays. Like he's being too soft on players nowadays. Like
Yeah.
that's also one of the reason like why there is lack of intensity, or the in previous seasons, like in previous teams under Pep, like which won the two titles, in many of the games, like when City goes down like 1-0 down or 2-0 down, they always tend to come back. The players like they push like crazy, and that firepower will be there to come back in the game. Like but this season and last season as well, like we are seeing a team like running out of ideas, and when the teams sit behind, and when the teams play like Spurs yesterday mid block, or the lower level teams which always tends to like put all the 10 players in their own box. So during those times, like we are seeming to run out of ideas, and instead of like tweaking something to the formation, or like doing some changes like substitution changes by Pep, but instead like we are placing putting up unnecessary crosses to the box, like as if our forwards are like 6 foot players. We already have all our short players, but instead I don't know why like we are playing the unnecessary crosses that that clearly like not works actually. There was no player like trying to make that passes, and that's also putting so much pressure on KDB as well. Now the entire like creativity like tends to fall on KDB, and he needs to like yesterday he had one of the normal game, but then he was all over the pitch yesterday. Like he was going right, he was going left, he was given the freedom, and he was the only bit of creativity like doing the things, because Morris was doing nothing on the right. So that side was completely null and void, and KDB has to like put in and take the shots. And even in some occasions, because of that, KDB was not passing to Morris. Phil should start playing, and that will also improve his confidence. And we see clearly that Phil has the technical ability, and he can do that role. It seems like teams mark KDB and take him out of the game.
Yeah.
We are short of ideas. We don't know like what to do, or like how to find the spaces.
Yeah.
So That's been pretty evident. Even in Leicester game, the same scenario happened. Rodgers did the same, exactly what Spurs did yesterday. We are seeming like a team which is very predictable now. Like we have the derby on December 12th, but I'm pretty sure that Ole is going to come up with the same plan. I will write it and give it to you right now itself. Ole is going to come up with the same plan. He will put Martial and Rashford on the wings, and he will try to attack the space. And you guys will sit back and let us have all the possession in the game. And on the right moment, you will take the chance and score. That's everyone knows that City is going to like push players, have all the possession. All the managers know that now, right now, because they are seeing Pep for 5 years now in the Premier League. So he needs to change something to the current system. And the only positive I would take away from yesterday's game is that seen visibly in the earlier stages itself, instead of going to like December, January, we can see it right now itself. And one lucky thing I can consider is that we are just 5 points of the leader with the game in hand. Provided if we win the game in hand, we are just 5 points of the league toppers right now. Coming to your question, like do I think whether we still have a chance? Yeah, I won't rule it out right now, because table is wide open right now. Like as I mentioned in our preview yesterday, if we would have won, so like it would have been great 3 points for us, because we could have closed the gap on Spurs and Liverpool as well, and we could have gone right ahead in the table. But the yesterday's loss put us back down, and we have more work to do now. Pep and the players as well. Like everyone needs to step up. Like Pep needs to do the changes in the team and his plans, and players also, like the big players, needs to step up their game. It's not only KDB that needs to like put in man of the match performances every week to win the title. You need a collective effort from the team to win the title. in
He,
in in Champions
uh,
League, he goes nuts. In Champions League, that too in the knockout stages, in unnecessary knockout stages and important games, he will do crazy stuffs. He will give too much respect to like opponents like Lyon, who sits like 10th or 12th in the French Farmers League, and he will respect them and he will change the formation. But when it comes to Spurs or like other teams who are very strong in their options to explore our weakness, he won't do anything here. That seriously pisses me off as well. I can give you the scenario like in Real Madrid game in Bernabeu, he played Gabriel Jesus as kind of left back in that game.
that worked very well,
But
actually.
yeah, but that worked very well, and like yeah, that's the job as well. Like if it works, we call that as
Pep
Pep
Masterclass.
Guardiola magic. And if it doesn't work, if it doesn't work out, people call him as Fraudiola. I'm seriously not happy with Maras at all yesterday. I don't know, like he had a poor game. Also, I think like some of the players right now are not very well comfortable with the system we play, because Maras, I think in the middle or in a counter-attacking style of formation would be a completely different player. But
Yeah.
In our style of play, like I don't think he's having that liberty to like make adventurous passes, or like go in the middle and do some one-twos and take the shot. But Pep wants his wingers to stay wide always, take on the one-on-ones. So that's where he's feeling the difficulty when it comes to good fullbacks like Regulon or any physical defender who comes in the one-on-ones. He will struggle.
The last probably 15-20 minutes has taken the spotlight away from how well Spurs played yesterday compared to how. So we focused more on what City didn't do rather than focusing on what Spurs did well. So I should
Yeah.
probably focus more on the great games Aurier and Dyer had, because I had my doubts on them before the game. Hotspur should know that. I was probably afraid of how they'll come up against City's trickery and pace on the wings. But I should say that they did so well. Not alone them. So I couldn't probably rate any player less than 8 yesterday from the whole Spurs squad. Everybody had a 8 to 10 kind of game, and that's what probably wins you the toughest of games, like sides like City or Liverpool. Probably 6 or 5 should be enough for sides like United. But so, but I should probably say that I couldn't find fault with anyone. So Sissoko, I thought probably he didn't do well enough in the previous games, but he stepped up so well against KDB and Bernardo Silva yesterday in midfield. And Endombele, as we were talking about earlier, he had a seriously good game. And probably Jose was open enough to admit that the goal Lo Celso scored immediately after coming on was lucky, but we should give him credit as well for taking the chance that early since he came on to Lo Celso. He has been a great player for us last season. He hasn't got his chances, but I think this goal will do him lots of good to his mentality and his confidence. And probably the other player I should point out is Hoiberg, who I think you guys should by now realize that he has been the signing of the season so far.
I think
I would call him that.
For me, he's the best
Yeah.
DM in the league
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah,
For
I
me,
think
he's the best DM in the league.
that's the kind of player United or City are probably needing right now, because probably you guys would like him to be a long-term successor to Matic, and probably CD would also take him as a successor to Rodri or replacement to Rodri. So I think he has proved a lot of guys wrong, coming from a side like Southampton, stepping into a Champions League or Europa League side like Tottenham and facing against the big teams. He has proved his mettle, and he had a great game yesterday as well against the likes of KDB and Bernardo. And yeah, I think people are now realizing his potential, and he has been a great signing for us. And I should point out that probably Loris should also get a lot more credit than what he has been getting. He has been, I believe, he has been the top two goalkeepers in the league so
Loris
far.
made good saves yesterday. Even at the end, Loris. Even at the
one
end,
save.
there was one
Yeah,
header
one on
from
one.
Ruben Dias.
Yeah, from
Yes.
a close range. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you should. Yeah, I think Højbjerg and Loris should be getting a lot more credit than what they are getting right now. I think a lot of focus has been on. I think Mendy, since he has signed for Chelsea, but I think Loris has been doing so well to get. I think 3 clean sheets in his last 4 games, and I hope we continue this run against Chelsea in the coming week, because that could be a big game after a game like City. So I hope we replicate this performance, and I hope we are not affected by the absence of Toby.
Thank you so much, guys, for listening and tuning into the show. If you liked it, please do drop a like and do share it and do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. For now, this is me and Sairam and CD and Anand signing out. Peace.
Ciao.
Thanks, guys.